Hi, from South Padre Island again. It's another poem I memorized for the kids. One of my favorites, and it's called The Cremation of Sam McGee. And it goes something like this. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who toil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make a man's blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, and that land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. And I'd often hear him say in his homely way, I'd rather be living in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way across the Dawson Trail. Cocky or cold, through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd closed, the lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It was much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. Well, that very night, as we were packed in tight in our robes beneath the snow, the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and Cap says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low I couldn't say no. Then he said with sort of a moan, it's that icy cold that's got straight hold and chilled me through to the bone. And it ain't being dead, it's my awful dread, it's that icy grave that pains. So I ask you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. So a pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I told him I would not fail. And we started on at the break of dawn, but God, he looked awful pale. He hunched on the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And by nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. Well, with a corpse half hid and that I couldn't get rid, I continued on horror-driven. There wasn't a breath in that land of death because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh and it seemed to say, you can tax your brawn and brain, but you promised true that foul or fair, you'd cremate my last remains. Well, a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, my lips were numb, but in my heart I cursed that load. Through the long, long night, in the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows, God, how I hated that thing. Every day that quiet clay seemed to heavier and heavier grow. And on I went till the grub was spent and the dogs were running low. The trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. Sometimes I'd sing to that hateful thing and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake LaBarge, and there a derelict lay. It was stuck in the ice, and I saw on it thrice it was called the Alice May. I looked at Ed and I thought a bit and I looked at my frozen chum. And then I said with a sudden cry, here's my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor and I built a boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames soared and the furnace roared. At such a blaze you never did see. And I buried a hole in that burning coal and I stuffed in Sam McGee. And I made a hike because I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. The heavens scowled and the huskies howled and the winds began to blow. It was icy cold, but the sweat rolled down my cheeks and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I don't know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and danced about, and ere I ventured near, I was sick with dread. But I bravely said, I'll just take a peek inside. He must be cooked, and it's time I looked, so the door opened wide. And there sat Sam, cool and calm, in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile that you could see a mile, and he said, please close that door. It's nice in here, but I greatly fear you will let in the cold and storm. And since I left Plum Tree in Tennessee, that's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who toil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make a man's blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. Good day.